Day 187. So I've had 2 good days back to back. Yesterday was a little chaotic, but I got a lot done. And I got a lot done today. I'm feeling good about it. I just got to do some reading and I'll be fully green for the day. First time in a while. So that's exciting. I've been feeling pretty down that I haven't been doing everything I've been wanting to do. So I'm getting better, but still continually reading and learning and everything. I tracked actually that so far since May I've read like over 50% of like 17 books, which is kind of crazy. I don't know. I've just been a sponge and I've been excited and I've been really trying to live like in the real world. I'm really trying to push myself, and it doesn't feel like I'm pushing it as much as it feels like the universe is pulling me at this point. It feels like I used to sit around and wonder what I should do all day, and now I I thought that because I didn't think there was anything worth doing. I didn't think there was anything worth learning. I thought that my life purpose was to, I mean, if I'm being honest, my life purpose was to deal with a job until, enough time passes and then I'm done dealing with a job. And therefore I was trying to maximize the amount of dollars per stressed hour. And at first it was dollars per hour. And then I learned very quickly after a couple of years of chasing dollars per hour that dollars per stressed hour is actually a really much better metric. And after I chased that for a while, I started, I was really good at it, and I got really efficient at dollars per stressed hour. And, it's about finding the right, job for you, and also like the amount of pain you can endure because it's not painful to you kind of thing. But after my kids started existing, it's really changed my purpose and my fulfillment and what I see as a good life or a good way to spend my time. And I think I'm still understanding it. I don't know if I ever will, just like how it's all kind of come together. But the thing I'm definitely feeling and proud of is that I'm listening, and it's once I've kind of realized that these kids are just staring at me looking for direction. That's when it really all kind of hit me, and I really woke up and I was like, I don't want to teach them all of my bad habits and my lack of life purpose and my lack of drive. It's not that I wasn't driven. It's just I was driven to a really shallow, hollow place, which was, effectively like do nothing, be nothing, say nothing, and I think that's not what I want to teach them. And so I've been on this new path, and honestly, I don't know if it's going to work, but I'm never going to feel like I didn't try, and I think that's most of what life should be about, is knowing you tried. I feel like so much of my life I really didn't try very hard or very much, or and I didn't even care if I won or lost. And and not that it should be about winning or losing. First of all, I got to stop thinking that and saying that. But I think it's more like I didn't really see the point in trying harder, because it felt like every moment of trying harder actually didn't benefit me. It actually, and oftentimes at work, I thought it made it worse, actually, because the overachiever actually gets ostracized. And I it's funny because I spent a lot of my early 20s thinking I wasn't good enough to have the same job as my parents. My parents are both engineers, and I've always had like really low self-esteem and really, just trouble. First of all, trouble articulating myself, trouble talking, trouble understanding, everything. But just trouble like feeling um, like I got this, or that people will come to me with their problems. Like I've had many situations in life where that's been very true, or people rely on me, trust me, think of me as the problem solver, the person that's going to help them. And I always thought it was either luck or I found a way to invalidate it. I found a way to make it so that whoever was asking me for that thing, they were being lazy or whatever. It's always invalidating. I always have to invalidate everything, every compliment, everything. But you hang on to all of the things people say that are bad, but you just throw away all the compliments and all the people that trust you and care about you. And I really tried to break apart from that. And so in my early 20s, I was really struggling with college. I was going to be an engineer like my parents, and I was having trouble, like everyone, like a lot of people do, with calculus and everything. And I remember my freshman year, first semester, I had one engineering class, and the rest were like calculus and chemistry and physics and stuff. And I tried so hard at this class, and I'm sure I just sucked at it, first of all. And that's like, it was a biomedical engineering class that they kind of made me take. And first of all, I don't do biomedical anything. I'm not very good at chemistry or any of these things, but I would be just killing myself trying to pass this class. And it was hard because it was complicated. It was designing biomedical things, and I really never had any exposure to that before that point. And anyways, so I got like a C in it. Okay. And I'm sure they were just being nice and they could have failed me. And I got a lot of B's and C's my freshman year, first semester of college. And I really thought, I was like, I don't think I can do this. I don't think I can be an engineer, because the next semester I had to take 2 engineering classes. The next semester I had to take 3 engineering all at once. And I was like, I literally tried my hardest to be good at this class, whatever this was. And for whatever reason, I didn't quit. I just kind of said like, I can do this. I have to try twice as hard next year. And I think it was my culture too. Like my family, not that they were like really picking on me. They probably like felt sympathy that I was trying so hard and not really getting anywhere. But it just felt like both my parents did this. Why couldn't I do this? Why is it so hard? Why is it so hard for me? It's always about me, And I'm sure I was a terrible student, terrible studier. Didn't really I didn't take things very seriously. And I don't think I had a very clear thought process of anything. I think I was searching for memorization answers, and that's really not a good way to be an engineer. It's really a bad way to be an engineer. But anyways, so ironically, that class ended up being more of a filter than an actual representation of what college was like. And I think there's a lot of lessons to take away from that, but it's been interesting because I eventually ended up, I did the same thing in high school too. I had a really tough first semester, both in high school and in college. And then second semester was a little bit better. Third semester was a little bit better. Fourth semester a little bit better. Every semester was a little bit better. And then eventually I end up with all A's by senior year. And I don't get there. Like, it's not like I know my sister's one of these people that like, they get 1 A- and and the rest are all A pluses, and their life falls apart, and they feel so bad about themselves. I'm not to that degree, I guess. If that's a better or worse degree, I'm not sure. But I definitely get better at understanding the game. And that's kind of my point today, is I'm learning a lot with all these books that I'm reading, how the game is played, and this kind of ties into like when I woke up and I finally realized, once my son was born, that capitalism is the greatest game ever invented. It's you can live your life like a video game, and there's huge downsides to that too. So it's not good. It's not super good. It's just I never realized how interesting life could be. Once I decided that there is something in life that is still a meritocracy, and it might not be your actual job that you're in. It might not be the actual company you work for. It might not be the actual thing you do, but you can go find a meritocracy and start playing in it if you decide to. And that's kind of what my eyes opened up to say, like, there is a real game out there that I can play in real life. And, I never realized that I was passively playing it. I didn't realize that there was a way to actively play it. And that's kind of what sparked this whole thing about me doing a startup and actively tracking my goals and creating learning as a habit. I finally realized, or I finally had enough nudges to realize that is our reality, that I can actually improve my life if I choose to do so. But I really, really, really need to choose to do so. This isn't like a only for a week, only for a month, half in, half out kind of crap, kind of thing. I really have the power to do that if I really, really choose to do so. And the more people I've put in my circle, in my community, the more people I consider myself equal with who have done that, the more I believe I can. And I don't know anybody that's done that. I'm just reading books and documentaries about people that have done that, and I'm pretending and hoping that I can get to their level if I try, if I keep trying, if I push and push and push and push. Okay, if you still follow me. So that's where I think I'm at right now. Is I'm in that. This is gonna be the fun part. I'm in that stage of the hard part, because quitting is the easy part and success is the easy part. But in between those two things, there's a hard part. And that's where I think I'm at right now. And and I'm 187 days into this, but this is kind of how I think about it. On the top here is the history of artificial intelligence. They had first invented it. They tried a lot of things. They actually made it a lot worse. They tried a lot of other things and they actually made it worse again. And then they actually figured it out. And now, and I think there's a training data kind of example of this too, where if you add a bunch of training data, it increases it for a while, but it actually decreases it quite a bit too. And people had to really push through that first decrease to get the actual benefits of it. And it really coincides pretty well with my process chart that I've had, this graph that I've had for, since pretty much day one. I don't know where I got this. Honestly, I think I got this from a YC video somewhere, YC talk. And I don't even know if I fully believe it. I think if I was to make up my own graph, which I might, I think it's somewhere in between these two, where it's like, this is usually how much you try the first time, and then this is you when you quit. But if you can get past that first quitting feeling and try some more, you're not going to get anywhere, which is the hard part, because you're going to get that quitting feeling again. But after that, if you can get over these humps of trying really hard and then quitting and trying really hard and quitting, you actually eventually get somewhere. And I think that's what this is about too, is there's a huge amount of trying, and then there's a huge amount of time just teasing you and making fun of you and just wanting you to quit so bad. This is where 99.9% of people quit in everything they do. And I think I I believe this is true. I'm reading books for an hour every day, and I'm working on my company as much as possible every day because I believe this is true. And I believe if I can put together enough days like that, I will be working my way through this part of the graph and eventually over here. I have to trust, I have to believe that this part of the graph has an end to it. Because when you're here, when you're anywhere on this, you don't you think that it's over. You think that starting was a wrong idea. You feel wrong, you feel stupid. You don't feel like it was ever a good idea. It was a waste of time, it was a waste of energy, and you should just go try something else. That wasn't your thing. That wasn't the thing for you. And I'm sure there's things like that. But I'm going to trust and believe that anyone can do anything if they can put themselves through this graph. I'm sure there is a whole bunch of professional athletes that will kick the crap out of me at anything I ever try, and I acknowledge that. It's not about winning in just sports. I think sports is the easiest analogy because it's the only time anyone ever tries as hard as they possibly can at something. And has a community. But, aside from us all not being 7 feet tall and us being out-muscled and outmanned by certain people because they're just physically bigger than us and all those things, I truly believe if the average person worked as hard as a professional athlete, they would be really close. I think that's a tough aside. But anyways, I'm gonna say this is true in every facet of life, period. And I'm gonna assume that the average person, average intelligence, average size, average everything, can be extremely successful and achieve their dreams if they can just keep hold of this graph and know that on the end of it there's going to be something good. They just got to power through it. And I think the hard part is we hear and see examples of this pretty much everywhere, but we don't agree with it. Like at some level, we don't put ourselves in that graph and say, that would happen to me if I did that. We say, that happened to that person. Good for them. I wish that was me. It's like the lottery argument. It's like I couldn't possibly make as much money as winning the lottery because I don't know how. It's not possible. I can't do that. I don't know where to start. So I'm just going to play the lottery instead. And the belief and hope and trust that I'm having in this is that this will win me the lottery faster than anything else I could possibly do, including buying my life savings worth of lottery tickets. I will make more money than if I won the lottery if I can just keep holding onto this graph and pushing through it. And I think that's how AI works. I think that's how life works. I think that's how from Sundays, from 2 days ago, from my talk about Airbnb, I think the trick to business and in life and in habits and in struggles and everything is to get over this first hump and then just do something consistently every day for years. And if you can't do that, you don't deserve it. You don't deserve success. I'll say it. And I know everyone comes with their own baggage and their own stuff, and I'm really not trying to say anything. Anyone's not good enough. It's more about accepting your reality. Either on purpose or on accident, you're making your decisions right now, every day. And you can do little things that will become big things, or you can do nothing. And I'm choosing to do little things that will become big things. If you ever go back, I started with 1 pull-up and 1 push-up. I started with the smallest thing I possibly do. I started with the very smallest habits I could possibly start with. And it's just about adding a little bit more every day. I'm not the Hulk, but it's just there's no way to grow, and there's no way to predict your growth. You need to actually do it and stop pretending like you know better. That is the only thing I've learned so far, is that the more I pretend and project into the future that I know what the future will hold, the stupider I am, the worse off I am, the less likely I am to achieve anything. And I think this is how companies work too. We are in, I don't know where we are actually on this graph, ironically. I loved saying that we're in the trough of sorrow because it makes me feel better, like we're actually over here and not still over here. I don't know, honestly, though. But I do know that if I follow the graph along, it will be fine. It will be fine. I just got to build up my habits. This is just habits. This is how sports works. This is how weightlifting works. This is how life works. This is how intelligence works. It's like, if you do not just have a thing that you do every day, you actually don't really grow or understand or learn anything long term. And I've really just tried to maintain the mantra of like, how can I get 1% better at this today or in the next week? You know, and I've been using what is the one thing I can do such that everything else is easier or necessary question a lot in life. And it's really, really helped me pay off a lot of things. It really helped me distill limitless decisions and opportunities into what can I do actually today. And that's been worth its weight in gold. Like, I think the hardest thing is to know what you want to do and know what you want to work on. And then the second hardest thing is to pick one thing to do to get you there, to get towards it, because you get excited, you get nervous, our brains are not wired to make good decisions every day without habits. We actually get overwhelmed and then we make bad decisions. I've been so much happier and so much more productive the more I limit my decisions and limit my choices on what I'm allowed to do every day, because I can have good days and bad days. There aren't these gray days where I just didn't know what to do and I sat around going, what should I do all day? Now it's like I just have a stack of things that I want to do and work on and learn. And if I ever get a free moment, I'm working and learning on those things. And I have found my motivation to do so because I trust that this graph will work. I think the biggest belief change in myself is that I believe I will actually improve and I will actually have a better life outcome and a better overall life and a better overall life for my kids if I believe that this is a meritocracy at some level. And I think that's something that I lost at a young age. You know, it's cool. School beats the crap out of this. The idea that we can, if the more harder you try, the better you do. And I don't know how to change that, but I think the more I can hold on to trusting that this is a meritocracy, whatever this is, you know, the more I trust that working my way through the chart will actually get me somewhere. And I don't think anything's ever 100% meritocracy, but I also don't think, I think it's 99% meritocracy in some games. And I think you should avoid games where it's lower and head towards games where it is truly a meritocracy. And then you're playing, you're fighting, you're competing. You feel excited that there's something here to do on Earth, you know? Like, we all want to play, we all want to win, we all want to work, we all want to try. But I think we've just been confused and told that there's no point, you know? And I think we have very, very small visions of what our world could be and what we can be in that world. And I don't know who creates that. I don't want to get into conspiracies. I really don't think it's anybody but ourselves, you know, that makes us think that we can't have significant lives, really significant, purposeful, successful lives that, you know, are that we're excited and proud of to tell our grandkids. You know, I think I think it's a long time coming that more people have that joy and excitement and purpose. And I think the trick is to believe, first of all, believe that it's possible. Believe that you can find your meritocracy where you are actually going to be picked or not picked based off your own abilities and actions, you know? And I never thought billionaires or anybody that's very successful, I was taught not to trust them, and I was taught to assume that they're evil and terrible and lied and cheated to get there. And I'm sure there's a million cases of it, but there are cases where it didn't happen, and that proves that it is possible. And it proves that this is all, on some level, it's doable, it's winnable, it's worth trying at. Because I'd rather try at this than sit around waiting for my life to end or move on. I'd rather play a game. I'd rather work. I'd rather learn. I'd rather be uncomfortable. It just feels better. It doesn't feel like I'm just waiting for something else, you know? I feel excited. I feel excited to learn and grow every day. I have no interest in news or, you know, relaxing. I feel like relaxing is trying to get away from your bad decisions all day, you know, of having to sit through boring, useless things and deal with boring, useless things. I don't know. I've really ironically lost the need to have this like escape from life, you know. I no longer want to escape. I want to embrace and attack and learn and grow. So, I think that's as far as I can get today. But I'm building up hope that this is my future and is the way the world works. And I think our company is going to work this way too. It's just about getting over these humps that we've created for ourselves, you know, and it's so easy to be ashamed of yourself in the valley, you know. It's so funny, you know, and you just got to remember this is where the other 90% of people quit, in this valley. This is the valley everyone quits in. That's what you tell yourself. Whatever valley you're in, every single one of them, that's where 90% of people quit. Because, or else that, you know, you wouldn't be taught that if it wasn't taught to you, you know, like it had to have happened. And your mentor, your coach, your teacher, your parents' response to that valley was try something else, try hard, don't try as hard, try less, do something else. There was no way out of that valley, you know, like that's what we've all been taught, but it's not true. I've been taught that it's easier to be nothing than something. And it's better to be nothing than something. That's not true. And I'm not going to teach my kids that. So, okay. Well, rant's over. See ya.